Hello, my name is Rucah. I'm the Executive Director for Western Kenya LGBTQ Feminist Forum. I'm the 2024 Twink Frey Visiting Social Activist. As a human rights defender from the grassroots, from the rural areas, one thing that normally happens is that human rights defenders from the rural areas and the grassroots are always left behind when it comes to opportunities like this, when it comes to global fellowship programs, when it comes to resourcing, when it comes to resources to the grassroots. With a previous relationship with the School of Public Health at the University of Michigan, I came to learn about the Twink Frey Visiting Social Activist Fellowship and decided to apply for this fellowship. And as I said, the application process was very inclusive, but also after applying, it was just about, now let me cross my fingers and see if I'll be selected. So when I got the confirmation that I'll be the 2024 Twink Frey Visiting Social Activist, I was so elated. I was so honored. This was going to be a first of its kind, not only to me, but also to Western Kenya as in general. So I have been able to develop great material, great IC material that would take care of burnouts for human rights defenders, that would urge human rights defenders to focus on self-care as human rights defenders. So I was able to develop very great material around self-care and healing for HRDs, and also addressing burnout for human rights defenders. So other than that, I was able to develop a position paper on mental health needs for LBQ and ITGNC persons in Kenya. And this was informed by, a very inclusive report by the Mental Health Task Force that was developed in Kenya, which clearly spelled out issues around sexual and gender minorities that needed to be focused on when it comes to mental health. But when there came the mental health strategic plan, some of these recommendations were not included. And I traveled to the US during a time when CEW 68 was taking place in New York. So the Commission on the Status of Women was taking part in New York. So I was able to register for a side event at CSW 68, and I was able to attend and hold and host this in-person side event in New York. There were other spaces that were hosted mainly by international partners, by INGOs, but Western Kenya LGBTQ Feminist Forum and Lake Region Women and Equal Health Forum was able to host an in-person side event that was talking about decolonization of funding, because this is something that really affects us as grassroots organizing. Like, funding models are really tight and compact and very non-accessible to grassroots. So we took advantage of this global space that was talking about the status of women in all our diversities to also echo and give voice to the limitedness of funding and the limitedness of resources that come to the grassroots, by just challenging, philanthropists, by challenging funders, by challenging development partners to, ensure that funding is decolonized and made accessible to grassroots. And like, these would look or take form in different and many ways. I gave an example of one of the projects that we are implementing through the Global Affairs Canada. We are supported by the Global Affairs Canada, and we are implementing, our implementing partners include Care Kenya and Crew. Yeah. So this funding model that Global Affairs Canada has brought on board is a very decolonized model that I think other INGOs and other philanthropists and other, development partners can borrow. It is a funding model that brings that fosters collaboration, that fosters intersectionality, that brings together women rights organizations within the grassroots, capacity builds them, and molds them and puts in place systems and structures so that these organizations can be at a place to compete for funding, but also diversify funding models. I was able to attend lectures. I was able to give lectures. I was able to share what intersectionality or intersectional feminism means to us as organizations within the grassroots, within the rural areas of Western Kenya, but also, link that to what intersectional feminism looks like at, that international front within a country that is that has, better policies and better structures and better systems like the US. Radical reimagination of feminism is actually really needed because we are able to ask ourselves who is not in this space and why are they not in this space, and how do we bring them on board, and not just to check boxes that, okay, we have brought feminists from the grassroots to this space, but we have brought feminists from the grassroots to this space, their voice has been brought to this space, and they are being heard within this space. But other than that is also looking at the future, and what does reimagining a future that is feministic looking like, and just trying to ask ourselves questions that how do we take up these spaces? How would a future that we want look like, and what do we need to do now so that future looks like the way we want it to look like? Initiatives that have happened, I would give an initiative like Queering the Ballot by INED in collaboration with various organizations like Nigolac, Elites, LBQ, and Wycliffe that took up, civic education, the civic education process, and also championed and ensured that queer folks took up space when it comes to elections and electioneering period, so that our voices are heard when electing decision makers. Other than that, I was also able to attend, classes to build my capacity in various things, like master classes I attended a master class in media and activism. How do we use media for activism? And that has really impacted how I look at media and activism moving forward. I was able to take part in the Global Feminist Project that focuses on telling first-hand narrative stories of feminists within various regions. And this is a partnership through the Global Feminist Project that is booming, that I see myself. I've continued with the project even after I left Michigan. I left Ann Arbor, because now I'm able to bring other feminists from the country to contribute to these stories of what feminism looks like.
I had an awesome opportunity to travel to Michigan, specifically University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, in the United States. I was accompanying a fellow activist called Caroline Rucah, who was a fellow for the Twink Frey Visiting Social Activists program. And I accompanied her to be her +1. Specifically, we had an opportunity to record a podcast within the university that, enabled me to travel back, into my journey of how I even became a an activist in the first place. The weather was amazing because for the first time I saw a lot of snow. I have never ever seen snow, because we only see snow on TV, on papers, or in movies. And this was one afternoon when we were meeting to share the work we do back in Kenya. We were given an opportunity to cook a Kenyan meal and share with the staff within the Center for Women for Education. And we cooked chapati, we cooked maharagwe or beans, and we prepared our special pilipili or pepper recipe that we came up with Caroline. And it was amazing seeing people enjoy that meal. Later we traveled to New York, and we decided that because we didn't have so much money, we were going to take a train. The train was also expensive, we could not afford. Then we decided to travel from Ann Arbor to New York by bus, and I think that is the longest journey I've ever done using a bus, because that whole trip was 22 hours. We attended the CSW also, where we had a side event at the CSW 68. We convened as, you know, Western Kenya, LBQ organizing. We were able to just share our experiences from Western Kenya and the current political context that we were operating in, the Family Protection Bill, and the many anti-rights bills that have been proposed or tabled. The Frey Twink Fellowship is such an amazing initiative that gives activists all over the world an opportunity to visit that space, share their experiences, and of course come up with tangible advocacy initiatives that they can implement back home.
So finally, I would like to talk about the amazing welcome at CEW Plus. Their office felt like home. They are like being able to share my experiences with also the staff of CEW was just an amazing experience, and how they welcomed me. I remember the first day they welcomed me with a lunch. And the last meeting we had was also a joint lunch, where everybody was bringing on board whatever they were cooking, or whatever food that meant something to them. So we were able to cook foods that means something to us, or to our culture, or our favorite food, and then be able to share together and partake of the meal. So one thing that I cooked, and because it is a meal that means something to us, is called madondo. Yeah, madondo is chapati. Chapati is made from wheat dough and then beans. Yeah. Other than that, I was able to also join other social activities within campus and also off campus. So I was able to join an activity that celebrated racial justice. I was able to go to a space of diversity that had a Swahili word called asubuhi, and I just felt home. Asubuhi means morning. I was able to attend a drag show at one of the gay clubs called Nectar, and yeah, it was not all work, but it was also like the social bit of it was also really social. I'm able to take advantage of all the resources, all the networks available for me as the visiting social activist. And this is something that, CEW has continued to tell me and reaffirm that I am the 2024 visiting social activist.